They don't care.
All right, you are live right there. Let me record. Now we have to. I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
Cut off.
Good morning, everyone. This is a scheduled meeting, May 5th, 2025. The County Commission, Griggs, we stand for the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call. Edlin,
Here.
Averill,
Here.
Ellison,
Here.
Zorn is,
He was gonna get on the Zoom. I haven't seen him yet.
okay, not quite yet. Okay. And Tramby's here. So,
You don't need to be as close to the microphone, I was told.
okay.
Oh, you can sit up, but
It auto adjusts, I guess.
Okay.
Your voice.
Need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Second by Ellison. So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Thank you. Look at the April 21st meeting minutes. Any additions or subtractions of it?
I make a motion to approve the minutes and dispense with the reading.
Okay, motion by Edlin to approve the meeting minutes as presented. Any seconds?
I'll second it.
Second by Ellison. Okay. Any discussion? Discussion? I should put this every time. Any discussion? If none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Bills. Anything that's just not sticks out at us, Sam?
Nope. Not that I seen.
Okay.
Just refresh my memory here.
Okay.
Um,
Still have a chart.
Nope, you're good to go
Okay.
as far as I can see.
Guys can look through them real quick, I guess. Anything else sees out of place.
I make a motion to approve the expenses.
Okay. Approval or motion by Edlin to approve the approve the bills. Second.
I'll second it.
Second by Averill. We'll do any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, it'll be a voice vote here. So Edlin,
Aye.
Averill,
Aye.
Ellison,
Aye.
no Josh yet or Zorn yet, and Charmy votes aye. Motion carried. Okay. Monthly office reports. Anything that stands out? Anybody else looks good or that?
Monthly office birds. That's what you're on right now.
Correct.
Okay, so in your drive, you're going to see a file name. That is hi Rod, I have you on speaker. Is it not working?
I don't have anything. I haven't seen
And
anything sent to me.
You didn't get the email.
What email did you send it to?
The Griggs County nd.gov one.
Okay,
Do you want me to send it to a different one?
you just send it to Rod, RODD dot, so Lauren@yahoo.com. See if I can get that one.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me try that.
Hmm.
Um, Okay, RODD.
Lauren@yahoo.com.
Okay. All right, it has been sent. But in your file, there is a different file name in there, and that is my monthly office report. That is the expense and revenue.
Okay.
Within the Dakota programs, it was expense and then revenue. Now it is one. So it's kind of hard to read and decipher. So if you have questions when you're looking at that report, give me a call. I can help you. But when you're kind of looking at it, you'll see the account number or account
Okay,
name, and
okay.
then it'll tell you year to date, and soon it'll say month to date, but this one that I got ran was just the year to date totals. So that's I did find that report, so that's good. So
Okay.
we'll keep going with it. Did that work, Rod?
I got it now. I'm trying to
Okay.
just see here. Oh, crap.
This unit is sure working. That's fine. It's blowing my hair.
Anything else to discuss in the monthly office reports, guys?
No, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. No, we can move on.
Okay. Item is maintenance and custodian, Pfeiffer courthouse cleaning. A little early, I'd say, but.
Yeah. So if you want to just go on.
Okay,
Huh? Oh, he's out there. We want to go get him and bring him in.
Sure. If he's ready.
Yeah. And we need a chair on the end for him to.
I will do that too. And then if, thank you so much. Here for you soon. Love that.
I need extra copy.
Here, I can help you.
Did not load up. It's, I can't see the load.
No, I'm on the wrong.
Oh, thank you.
Look.
We'll flip. Okay, who wants to take this one? Edlin?
I can take it. Last meeting, we were discussing updating the cleaning schedule because it hasn't been touched since the old courthouse, which was 11 years ago.
They were done when we moved over here.
Okay, we didn't see it, so we grabbed a new one and started and updated it. It was Josh and I and some of the inside crew, and we gave it to
Yeah. You and the women here,
Deb and Brian to,
why, what's dirty?
no, it,
What's dirty and what's not clean?
the purpose of us getting together was to update the schedule, the cleaning schedule and the maintenance schedule.
Okay, so
It
I'm
had
just
nothing-
wondering why something must be dirty if you got a double the amount of time to do it.
It hasn't been updated since we moved over.
I
That was the point.
know what
of
I'm
updating
talking
it.
about. It's the amount of time that's required to do it now.
Okay,
She done it in 20 hours, now it has to be 40. Why wasn't she involved in this process of cleaning?
well, that's when we sent it to you for you guys to review it. This
Yeah,
was the
but
rough
Why
draft.
wouldn't, yeah, it was brought
And-
up, but she wasn't there when it was brought up. That plan is so fucking ridiculous, it ain't even funny. So I'm just here to tell you, she's done. As of today, she's done. She's got 1 year left to be eligible for retirement,
Okay,
and she can't put up with this backstabbing shit. She's done. Go behind her back. Why couldn't they ask her, could you clean this, clean this? No. Drag her to the commissioner meeting, many times. She's done. I'm not letting her come back. The job was set up for her after hours, weekends, to be on her own. She doesn't get along with people.
okay,
And now she can't work here after this backstabbing crap. That's done.
okay.
So now you can, whoever you've got in mind, you can get them here. Because the stuff you had listed was so out of whack, it ain't even funny.
Okay, so you did review the list?
Yeah, we looked at it.
Okay,
I said, she's done. She ain't coming back.
okay,
So you can get whoever you want now. And I'm sure they can go back, because that list you got, ain't nobody gonna do that.
okay. We reviewed the list. You guys have a copy of the list? Okay, we
Yeah.
broke it down to daily cleaning and weekly cleaning,
Monthly.
monthly, quarterly, weather permitting, and then carpets twice a year. We also reviewed the maintenance because that wasn't updated since the copy that we saw was not updated since the old courthouse, which we no longer even have coal. So we reviewed that and worked on updating that list and worked on the responsibilities. Some of the conversation that was discussed during that time was bringing up snow removal. We have somebody to remove the snow during the morning, but like midday and everything else, who could do that? It was also as brainstorming went along, we visited about merging the two positions into one and having a one person do both the maintenance and the housekeeping for 37.5 or 40 hours a week, whatever it took to be able to position, to be able to do this list of duties that we came across. And I'm sure since we are open to reviewing that, but and have it be 5 days a week during work days to come in here and do the office hours. We already pay somebody, we already pay insurance for it. I don't think the expenses would be any higher if we have just one person do both. Thoughts on merging the position?
What's that?
I don't have the list here in front of me of what your details are, but just kind of briefly, if you do merge the positions, then it would be yard maintenance, mowing, cleaning,
Yep,
Everything.
snow removal, light construction, painting the building, managing the contracts, the generator, the sprinkler system, the fire system. I also have flag status on here, knowing when to put the flag up and down. Where the staff of where the flag should hang. They must need to be able to lift 50 pounds. And then during the day, also do the maintenance and do the cleaning portion of it.
Yep. The one question that I have is that unless we probably have to purchase some kind of equipment, but like the front of the courthouse has, got all the glass, and it'd be nice to have somebody, I don't know if we need, if that's something we have somebody do off of a ladder, or do we get like long pole? I don't know, but it would really be nice. And just to have on a maintenance item to keep windows clean.
Yep,
I'm sure Deb had cleaned all the side windows and done a great job on that, but I'm just, way up above, and I don't know if that's something that we can do. Maybe it's out of the realm. I'm just wondering if that was something that we could do.
Yeah, that was one of the topic or discussions on there, is to clean the windows and even shampooing the carpets. Some of the stuff we don't currently have the equipment for. that we will have to
Right, right.
invest and buy a shampoo or to shampoo the carpets twice a year. And, clean the windows. We might have to buy, we do have scaffolding here, but we might have to buy a ladder and some window cleaning equipment for outside to reach up high. You know, that
Right.
kind of deal. Also, you know, cleaning during the office hours in the offices would be nice, or having somebody here to be able to, hey, I have this right now. Can you work on this? Can you fix this? Somebody in the building during office hours to manage it.
What do you think that's full-time
Well,
or half-time?
right
I'm just
now,
curious.
well, currently we got 20 hours for maintenance going and 20 hours for housekeeping. So we're paying out 40 hours a week right now for both.
Yeah.
So if we merge them together and get one full-time person, that's a full-time 40-hour a week job. Or 37.5, 40. We haven't, I mean, it was kind of up in the air as to how many hours.
Well, we're just.
We can do 40.
And if it's something, there's other stuff that's probably gonna entail that if they're not comfortable doing, that's fine. They could talk to the commission about it or whatever else and get prices on what it would cost to do other stuff or fix or whatever else. That's also what we looked into too. Cause depending on what it is, like, Deb, some of the stuff she probably wasn't comfortable doing, which we understand, but, it still could have been brought up, hey, I can't do this, but can you get somebody in here to help me?
Yeah.
Right. And this doesn't take away from needing to call the plumber or electrician, things that are out of your scope of practice or you need somebody licensed to do.
Yeah.
But
This is just just a basic general maintenance of like, basically what all courthouses have, what all hospital facilities have, everything else. It would just be a general maintenance type person for that. Which their general maintenance does all cleaning, they fix stuff, patch holes, paint, touch up paint, clean carpets, all that stuff. So. But
So,
Wayne, you wanna explain what Brian does here with the in between here?
I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
Managing building contracts. That is not a job for any of us. That's a job for the commission
correct.
or the auditor.
That's why we would have a maintenance
That's why they.
position
still
should do
taking
it.
care of that. He doesn't have any, they don't have any. Power in order to do that, manage contracts.
Correct.
Generator, sprinkler system.
But they would be in charge for, like, they would have a checklist of stuff like that, then when the time comes for it to do, they could bring it up to commission saying, this is when this service is due, you can come get it. And you have stuff. to do it.
Oh, sure.
I do them and then I call Brian to come up here
Okay.
and take care of it. So then he'll be here. But like that, he would be here, I get him involved in stuff like that. So then it would be to kind of help me manage those things. That's
Right. And if the position was merged into one, you had one person doing both, that person could take over that position because they're here full time.
When explain to you when he comes up and does how he clocks in and out, explain that to the people, please.
Well, in the morning, I have never gotten a bill for snow removal. He doesn't put that on his time card.
Okay.
When he goes up and moves snow in the morning for work. Evidently, that goes on the courthouse. Time. He uses the road department equipment. But other than that, I mean, they do the mowing and weeding. I have nothing with that. I think it's gonna be hard for somebody to be in here washing windows and stuff in your offices when you're working. How's that gonna work?
We do it at my facility.
Your facility isn't courthouse, yours is,
Just
I don't think they go into somebody's private room and wash their hands.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's, if I can speak, I think liability wise, you have to have somebody here. We are shut down the sheriff's office. We can't have anyone in there without us being there. There's just too much sensitive stuff laying around.
I was saying with all the,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I do.
so, but they're not supposed to touch the desks. And yet there's material laying all over. But they're supposed to bust the desk.
Not on here. On the new listing, on the offices, every office will handle their own desktop.
Yeah, but still they're in there
Right,
after hours.
right now it's after hours, but if they were during the day,
Then it would be.
it would, yep,
No, I just mean.
yep.
If people are in after hours, it's maybe not. Correct.
Right. Not that somebody would, but set it ourselves up for it might happen. Yep, the liability of it, that it might. Yeah, so the proposal is to merge as we were discussing, the proposal was to merge them into one position. Hire somebody to do both the maintenance and the housekeeping,
And it'd be a full-time position
full-time position.
with benefits.
Yep.
Hmm.
Brian said that it was about 30 years ago before he took over, it was all in one. The position on the old courthouse was at one time of one position where the person was housekeeping and maintenance. And then they separated out because
Didn't work.
it didn't work because the maintenance guy didn't do very good housekeeping or so.
It didn't work.
Yeah,
Too much for one person.
so they broke it down into two people for 20 hours each.
Is that what Holden was? Was he the full-time guy?
No. The way it was set up, it's worked for years, it's what they wanted,
Yeah.
and I don't know, you'll find out. When they get one position 5 days a week, you'll find out.
We include snow removal and mowing into that same, but then the courthouse would have to buy a mower and then would have to buy a.
We have.
What do you,
Yeah.
Back here.
See, the other issue too is, let's say they come up here at, in the afternoon. To move snow here, one person can qualify to run the Bobcat or the Kubota is these guys on the shop,
Well, we bought the Bobcat to move the snow,
I know,
so
but
I'm
we
sure
have
we could,
Find somebody to, we
I'm-
need somebody like these 20 guys to run it.
I'm sure we could train the person that we hire for the position to be able to run the Bobcat to move the snow.
Oh,
that's the police.
yeah, we own it.
I mean, the county owns
I
everything.
mean, courthouses.
Yeah,
What do you think, Wayne?
Your job, your position, you.
I've always, I know, I'm just always a little leery. They'll run our equipment.
Probably, yeah.
that would be the upon hire requirement would be able to
Yeah.
operate that equipment. Okay,
The other,
Where,
go ahead, Rod.
where's the mower now? What mower do they use? Is there a county down at the county shop mower or what? I don't even know what we have for a mower.
LT 133, it's a rider. It's in the.
Is that-
stay at the courthouse or does that go down to the county job?
That's in the courthouse.
with that, I'd like to make a motion.
Hang on a second.
Okay,
One last thing. What really bothers me, the whole thing is that now that we're gonna find somebody to do this maintenance position, then Brian will probably won't apply for it, correct?
I can, I already got a full-time.
That's what I'm saying. But but the other thing is that we basically, you get less hours now. You get some extra money because of this, not extra money, but it's extra. How can I put it? You're getting paid. It's a good thing. I'm trying to know the good way of doing this. You get extra. You get the county money, but you're still paid by the county, but you get an extra income, I should say, by doing this extra job. You follow what I'm saying?
No,
Yeah,
our income's cut in half.
That's my point. That's exactly my point here.
I know, I
So
got,
therefore your income is cut. See, that's my big rub on this whole thing.
And in another couple of years, we could retire,
Yeah.
so.
Well, he gets his full-time county
He-
paid
he-
anyhow, right?
Yeah, he does, but what I'm saying is
Well,
that,
but
how much is it, you ever figure how much it extra is for you?
50% of our income, her, mine is
Yeah,
what, a little less than what I make down at the road department.
yeah. That's my issue with this whole thing right now is we cut you out and then you lose your income, on this extra income for you,
well, it's the extra, right?
It is, but it also, we don't, yeah, you're right, but you follow what I'm saying. No.
You don't need
Not
to be
for
more
me.
down.
Yeah.
But anyone
We're
can
done, just
apply
leave.
for it.
I'm-
Correct.
I'm done too.
I,
So you can.
But that's my,
Turn the
you
keys
follow what
on.
I'm saying.
I'm gonna sound very insensitive when I say this. But sometimes we need to look out for the benefit of the county, not for the individual. I believe this merging
Yeah,
the two
well-
together would be beneficial for the county in a whole than,
That's the only other way is unless. But like you guys are saying it's a security issue, but unless we can hold it just till I retire too. That's the only other thing. That's why we talked about this and we'll bring it up to the commission. It's like,
mhm.
these are ideas. It's not a solid case. So, I mean, I don't want to kill anybody's position, but at the same time, we do have to look at our security factors.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying that we want to try to also keep quality employees too.
Yeah. That's where the problem is.
That's my point.
So how much?
Okay. Anyway. I guess I'm not real happy about this whole thing, to be honest, still. I'm gonna be the bad person here. Sorry.
It's understandable.
Yes,
That's why we're discussing it. Nothing's set in stone.
the one thing that should be set in stone, I believe, is the cleaning schedule, since that was the update in the cleaning schedule. Needs to be. I believe needs to be set in stone.
Mhm.
Whether you merge the two positions, that can be discussed later. However, I am for merging them. Now Deb has already left. She is no longer going to be doing the housekeeping.
Well, would she stay if we kept it?
I don't think so.
But I don't think she'll do this
Oh,
cleaning schedule.
no.
I see the point of doing the merging in one position. I understand that, just that we're hurting two employees, I guess. I'm looking at that end. I know it's for the county end of it, but I'm looking at the other personal end of it too. Sorry.
I see where you're coming from, Scott.
Yep.
We also gave them first option for them to apply for it too.
True. On that one.
So
Right. They can
again,
apply
we
for-
did not want. We don't want to lose an employee, but at the same time, we do have factors here that we have to look at that
Yeah.
is a security risk. And stuff not getting 100% done. So, and if there's an issue where she needs more hours to do that, that's fine, but she has to come talk about that too.
Yeah.
So.
There are points in this courthouse that we need to start looking at also is who is going to move the snow during the midday? Who's going to move the
Right.
snow during midday? If Brian does both between the two during midday, if he goes between the two positions, he literally needs to clock out from maintenance to clock out from road to do maintenance.
What did Brian do? Just snow and lawn?
Get his snow and lawn and whatever needs to be fixed in the building, he comes up here to do those things.
Yeah, and
If-
I
If he
don't-
can, then if
yeah,
if
and I
not,
don't-
then
I
they
don't-
tell
I
us
don't
to
hear any
call like a
complaints
plumber,
about
call
that.
electrician,
No, I
call
don't
a,
either.
Yep.
whatever, so.
And
So-
he does do work on Fridays when he doesn't work on the road. I'm not saying he's not doing a great job. And I'm not saying that at all. I'm of course looking at it as a very business aspect
Well, shouldn't we?
and
And then.
Right.
Like other stuff, like. Well, one of the things that was brought up, and we understand if Deb either doesn't want to do it or can't handle it, it's just. Like, they said, we've been in this courthouse for 8 years, curb. Stuff like that, No, I mean, we could get cleaning contracts, but if we pay an employee full-time to clean the carpets, it's gonna save the county a lot of money,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
And things like the courthouse or the painting in the courtroom should be done. And if we have a maintenance person, the maintenance person should do that.
Cause that's where it is at every other facilities. Unless it's, you know, like the courtroom, I kinda understand high ceilings or something like that, they don't. But like a room like this, if, you know, they wanna repaint it or whatever else. That's why they have maintenance people to do that. Or if there's a hole in the wall or something gets banged or whatever else and something needs to be fixed or like that. You know, where we took the old TV down, gotta patch it, paint it up, stuff like that, that should be under maintenance. That's why you have a maintenance person to do that.
No, I agree with that. I just think you're, yeah, whatever.
I don't think we really added any more work to the dailies. I think we just broke down the daily cleaning. I don't think we added anything more than what she was already doing.
Except for the carpet cleaning. Over there, they would wax the flooring tiles, and so then it would just be, instead of waxing the flooring tiles, it would be to carpets.
Okay.
Is there any way that right now, if with Deb and Brian, with the new cleaning list, that between the two of them could continue to do it? Or is that not an option?
They both he already said Deb is done, but that didn't come from Deb's mouth, but she will have to tender her resignation, but.
Yeah, I left all the keys in the top of the desk here, so.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, what's your wishes, I guess?
Well, I don't think it's our responsibility if she turned in her resignation. I mean, that's her choice, not mine. Just because we changed the list doesn't, or
Mhm.
offered to change the list.
Then we offered to keep her position, she'd have, if she needed more hours, that'd be fine, that could something we could have discussed too.
But there was no discussion to be had.
Well, we were just,
Right.
all our meeting was about, okay, what needs to be done, what needs to be changed. And everything else. It wasn't to kill jobs, it was just saying, okay, we needed to make an updated list on this. And then we'll bring it to the commission and the commission can decide from there. That's all it was.
Mhm.
Yeah, these are basic cleaning duties. I don't know if do you have the list?
Yeah, I got it. I saw
Okay.
it. I saw it.
Yeah, these are basic cleaning
I
duties that
saw
you would see on the daily. It's not. But I again, and still, especially if they both walked out and left their keys, I would most definitely be for merging the position. And advertise for a new person to do both. So with that, I'll make a motion to merge the cleaning and housekeeping schedule.
Okay. Motion by Edlin to do that. Do I have a second?
What was it? Say it again.
I made a
Go
motion
ahead.
to merge the cleaning and housekeeping position. And make it into 40 hours a week.
And you want me to start advertising for that, or are we gonna?
Well, let's,
Get this done first.
yeah,
We have a second on this one, guys?
I think we should just talk to them first. Give them the list and then. Like I said, if she needed more hours to do it, that's fine. Just talk to her. Cause this is all this was an update on the list.
Correct. I know that, but I think the damage is already done though myself, unfortunately. Just being blunt. So.
I think
I
one
agree
thing,
with,
I
Go ahead,
apologize
Go
for
ahead.
interrupting, guys. I think one thing you need to look at is be very careful with budget situations. As you know, the legislator brought up is past 3%. So make sure when you add additional expenses, you know that we have a limited budget.
this will not increase any expenses at all.
It would just basically take two part-times and make it one full.
Right. So
Did Rod, did,
it would
did
not
what,
affect the budget.
Go ahead, Rod.
not to interrupt you, Steph, but when Brian, would he get paid a flat rate for the work he did, or would he clock in and out for hourly? You know, if he worked a 8-hour Friday or 2 hours on Thursday, or did he do hourly, or was he just a flat rate maintenance guy, or how did that work?
Wayne?
He was a flat, this has nothing to do with
Okay,
with the road department. So he was a flat rate. But then when he would fill in for Deb, he would, get overtime, would submit an overtime, slip. Or if he did more than those hours, he'd fill in a slip. Yeah.
Okay.
But nobody sent in actual hours.
No, I would get a timesheet that said like worked, you know, that they worked those days, but
Yeah.
And legally, what do you have to have on your end? Do you have to have that, or do you actually have to have it say a lot of hours worked? Or doesn't it matter because it's technically a contract?
That's not
legally you'd have
contract.
to ask Jamie on that, but I would have preferred to have the hours on there.
You should have hours written down. If you're paying them by the hour, you should have a time card to match the hours. If you ever got audited by Workforce Safety, they're going to ask for that.
As far as how it was set up in the beginning, I'm not sure. This is how it was going when I came.
They were both hourly employees, paid through payroll.
So they were hourly employees, but they were just getting like a flat rate to clean so much per week.
Yes.
And then, so then if we combine, the plan then for Steph, then if you were gonna combine the two, you're gonna take the two combined wages and turn it into one salary and for someone?
Correct. Actually, it might be less because I think their wage was higher than I feel the position could be. But yes, it would take the 20 hours from the maintenance, 20 hours from housekeeping, merge them together and bring it to one position for 40 hours a week.
The 220s and become 140. And we're all paying for what we already pay for her benefits, right?
But you're gonna pay for 40 and then only work 37?
No, I was throwing out the 37.5 because that's what the office people work, 37.5 or 40, either way. I mean, 37.5 I think would be suffice for the hours for the week to be able to
But we
do
just
so,
figured
but
40 hours because average work week's 40
yeah,
hours. So
And that's what they are right now. It's the 20.
yep,
When I worked 40 I had to be in the office for 40 hours.
yep.
And
And
I did.
they would be here. It wouldn't be a come and go as you please. They would actually be scheduled. You're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30.
I understand what
Yep.
goes on. I just meant
Yeah. Oh, yes. When you're scheduled, and yes, and they will have a timesheet stating the times they are here and they're not here, and they'll be paid by the hour. Not just a flat, here's your 20 hours, here's your 20 hours with a timesheet that says W on the day.
oh, we should know what they're doing.
Right. So yeah, it wouldn't change anything in the budget. It wouldn't bring us over at all.
the only additional expense would probably be whatever window cleaning equipment we would need to buy and a carpet cleaner.
Correct.
Which we should be have a maintenance guy cleaner carpet. He's still contracted because it'd be way cheaper.
Well, no question. We have to buy
Especially
a
if they haven't
machine, we have to
been-
buy a machine, of course, or something, or rent one.
Especially if they.
Yeah, no, have they ever been cleaned? Never been cleaned, just vacuum. Vacuum.
And we're discussing, we got the old courthouse falling apart. we got a new one. We gotta get up on this stuff and start taking care of stuff before we run into the same situation again.
Yep.
And it's little stuff like that, that's gonna keep.
No, what you're thinking on a farm, you have to maintenance, you know, you gotta keep everything up. I know firsthand about that.
Cause right now,
Preventive and maintenance, literally it's as lifetime on.
Yeah.
cause right now we're only maintaining when there's a breakdown.
Yeah.
When something breaks down, when something needs to be fixed, then we're fixing it.
Yeah,
It'd be nice to have somebody here to maintain it
yeah.
during the time.
You're suggesting they'd be here then 37.5 hours a week
Or,
in the building?
Mhm.
I mean, that's what you're
During
suggesting.
business hours.
Yes.
everything else, They'd be cleaning, do whatever they need to fix stuff.
Well,
You know, any general maintenance, that's what's on the list, and then if it's any more than that, or, you know, something serious. Bring it to the commission, commission to either say, okay, this is what we'll do. They can approve it, disapprove it, whatever needs to be done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
then you're gonna, I mean, are you gonna have them work normal hours then, or nights and weekends,
Or it'll
or,
be normal hours, it'd be normal hours.
I mean, that's.
I think in there we talked seasonal, so if you,
I
right,
saw that.
first,
And you know, it's different snow removal, whatever else, if they gotta show up early,
Well,
move snow or whatever else, that's, you know, they could do that, and then. They can clock out earlier.
Yeah, they can adjust their hours. If they have to come in early to move snow during the day. Or if you don't want them to have to work overtime, so they would have to
Yeah,
adjust their hours accordingly, but.
and it's different if there's like. You know, if they gotta be here nonstop for a blizzard or whatever else, take care of it, they gotta have a day of time, that's a little, you know, that's a little bit more understanding compared to. Weeks on air, stuff like that. You know,
well, that would
because
be,
it's all weather related, you can't control weather related.
you'd
Correct.
almost have to write that in contract,
Yeah.
they'd clean the driveway before.
Before business hours.
We can fine tune this maintenance list, however you guys feel to fine tune it.
Yeah,
You know, if we should put detail in there that the expectation of removing snow before the courthouse opens. You know, and we just put snow removal for the general.
No, I know, I just mean,
I would assume you'd have to do a job description, if you do merge them, and then you would.
Right. Right. Yep.
Anyway, got a motion for Medlin to do this. Do we have a second or not?
one second.
Second by Avriel. Any discussion? Any discussion? One last.
One question,
Go ahead.
I got a question is. Where, is any idea, Steph? To what kind of a number you're thinking to get this position, and I agree with what you're putting into one. I understand where you're coming from. But as I'm listening to this conversation, we've got a pretty broad stroke of what we're looking for from somebody that's able to run a Bobcat, to clean, to paint, to mow. And we can, it's out there, but I mean, it's that it's you know, keep a generator up and going, you know, the maintenance and testing on a generator and backup generator and stuff. And it's out there, but we may end up paying to get that position.
Well, a lot of the generator stuff is all contract, it's just they would be in charge of those contracts. Like,
Okay.
when they gotta call the person to do it, or if something breaks down, okay, the maintenance guy calls who they feel is needed to come fix it, or whatever contract we do that. They wouldn't
I
be
think-
out there servicing the generator itself.
Right. But just to keep up on, you know, because I think they have to test run so often and stuff,
Yeah.
and you know, just to keep up on all that stuff, you know, and
And that's a lot of those basics, I mean, if they're not comfortable with that, that's, you know, there's work, there's leeway there.
Yeah.
But it's,
yeah.
what did we discuss?
Yeah, no, and it's not that I'm disagreeing with anything. I'm just saying that, you know, it's a pretty broad stroke of what we're trying to cover here.
We figured in a dollar
Like
amount
19,
per hour,
20?
I believe. Just as starting off, and then, you know, it's like, here's your starting off wage. If you can do more, great, you know, we can figure out a pay increase from there. If not, you know, if it's gotta be less and you can do a little less basics, well, here's your starting wage and that's probably it.
Okay.
So, and then just general raises, how the courthouse gets, you know, or the employees get from there. I think we discussed it.
Like 1920, I think we
Yeah.
discussed.
19 to $20 an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
between there. That was just a rough throw out numbers. Cause we knew it
Yep.
wasn't going to go over budget with those two.
No,
But I think we could have sway up to another dollar amount.
yeah,
We could sway it higher.
it just
Okay.
depends on the actual qualifications of the person that does take the position, what they can actually do too.
Yep. Yep. Okay,
Okay, so
I'd like to.
go ahead, Wayne.
So $20 an hour. you're
Not
gonna
enough.
pay this person, we're paying 2 employees, I just hired a new one. Got a Class A CDL license. Replace. 10%, like. $20.20. And Jeff Johnson's been working for 9 years. Running heavy equipment. He's getting $20.
So,
So you're gonna have somebody come in here. Wash the walls, the windows and the floors. $20.
well, what do you start your guys at?
I just told you.
Yeah,
20.
1820 is what I was gonna start.
Okay,
This one person that applied that didn't have a CDL license. But I had another applicant that had a Class A CDL with a lot of experience in driving truck. So I just hired him Friday, by Thursday. And he's gonna get paid $20.20.
Okay.
That's just,
no.
Food for thought. Okay.
No, that's understandable.
Totally understandable.
okay, one last time, any more discussion, guys? I'm gonna do a voice vote on this one, sorry.
Absolutely.
Edlin,
Aye.
Averill,
I'm gonna say maybe due to, we should try and get a little more.
okay, Elson,
I'll say aye.
okay, Zorn,
I am a nay right now.
and I'm gonna vote nay too, sorry. That's what I,
Let's get a little bit more stuff.
motion,
on it.
motion fails.
A little more stuff, a little more secure wage, then we can have 100%. done.
Yeah.
Sure. Works for me.
Okay,
With that being said, do we want to stick with a couple of people to work together on this? Do you want to continue working together on
Yeah.
presenting more
Yeah,
information?
and then, like I said, that's just, I mean, we could figure out what some of their other departments heads, what they start at too and everything else. Like he would say, make it more fair.
Yeah.
What would you,
Understandable.
so you'd like us to fine tune wage? What else would you like us to fine tune?
I mean, is there anything on the list that you guys think needs to be added or changed?
the list looks good to me, it's just that, yeah, I don't, no issue with that, you know, just,
I said, she's figuring out right now the salary that they were at.
And there was benefits for.
it'd be a full-time position.
And she,
was.
but
How
No.
did that work?
she was part-time, she got benefits out of it.
How
That's
did
not-
that work?
And that's not fair to the other employees either.
We're gonna misunderstand. For sure.
In one of the other meetings, a few years ago, they made a motion because Brian gets 40 hours down at the shop, he gets a single policy, and then combined together, make a full-time position. So then they got a single policy paid for as well. And so then, and those two were going towards their family policy. Now they no longer have that family policy, so then they would each get their own single paid.
That was
Deb
back
was-
in 2015.
Deb was making $22.26 per hour. Brian was making 21.06. And then there was $5,500 in additional wages that they could tap into if the commission's over and above that.
So the starting at 1920 was less than what the current position was paying.
So if they both got that wage for 20 hours a week.
Yes,
Yeah.
So if you were to take that times,
So you guys had budgeted for $50,555 for the position.
And that's just the salary.
Correct. If you wanted to kind of put that in a perspective, my pay would be $50,832. So they would be making about $300 less than my wage.
More or
then your help.
everything else that some other.
My help would be way less than that. My help is at 37,000. They're
and
making,
Steph, you think you could get somebody at the advertised wage of $20 an hour would be what, 38.5 a year?
I don't know. I think you need to look and try to see.
Well, we can,
I,
like Wayne was saying.
It's more than that, 'cause you gotta,
More than what?
you got your insurance and
yep, as I was saying before, I was visiting with Sam and I said there, even at you don't know until you try, you don't know until you advertise. There was a position at the nursing home in Annetta that required a nurse 1 day a week and every third weekend. And we were thinking nobody would ever want to work this, but we put out an advertising and by God, somebody wanted it. So you just don't know until you put it out there to see, who would be interested in it and who may have all the skill sets to do maintenance with some housekeeping, both in there. It might be perfect for
somebody up at the factory.
somebody, yeah, who has both skill sets. But I guess we don't know until we try. And the salary goes, I mean, they are currently making an average of 22 an hour, right? 21, one, 22 the other, which is more than what Wayne's
Guys
department
are
is
getting
making.
paid.
And right, so
You might have half the courthouse applying for it.
right,
Let's be real.
right,
Why not?
yes. All of a sudden, yeah, so I think 1920 is a good, strong start. 19. It's hard because our deputies are starting at what right now?
37.
How much?
37.
37 a year? Or 30,
Yeah, a year.
So
divide that by what?
So they get 19.07 per hour.
Okay. So
So let's
we'll
bring it up for next meeting. of
yep, go
course.
come back to the next meeting with
Yeah.
more of a solid game plan
Yeah,
for a presentation.
You guys out, what? Average.
When they started off, they were a lot lower than that. But times have changed.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So if you guys wouldn't have given the $2 an hour raise last Jan.
Okay. starting date, yeah.
They were making 18, 20 an hour. Private semi and regular. Thank you for that raise.
Right.
Okay. All right, so we'll bring it up next meeting again, see what we come up with, so. Let's move on, I guess, for right now. We have can you put this in the screen, Sam? The letter from Jim Broughton and the protest? Can you do that? I was curious. Since you're here, Maddie, you want to explain this to us a little bit, please?
And will you come over here so we can
Yeah.
record you?
Yeah.
So
I've had a couple protest payments before, but they've never actually went this far, so I'm honestly not sure what you guys are supposed to do with this.
This is very unfair valuation compared to the other cabins on the lake.
Was this redone in the last year? Assessment, or did he say any more about that?
He sent one last year, but he never filled out the rest of the paperwork until this year. When he got his tax statement this year, then he re-protested.
Now, was this on their lake cabin? Their like, I don't know anything. When's the
He-
last time it
he's
was
at-
assessed?
He's at Red Willow Lake, correct?
Yes.
You want to show his letter?
Yeah, can you do that or not? Oh,
Yeah, can you scroll down?
Yeah, 'cause
There we
right
go.
now we're at, I don't know what number that was. Okay, I'm gonna scroll up to see. Ooh.
And
oh, there it
Okay,
is.
because he did number 3, so he applied in writing to you guys. So now it's just if the county commissioner rejects in whole or part such application filed, section 3 should notify the applicant. So I'm not sure what the next step is, if you guys are supposed to approve, deny his letter. I haven't ever had one of these before, so I'm really not too sure. Maybe Jamie could explain more legally what we're supposed to do.
Jamie, you there?
he is there.
I am. I'll have to look through the process. I didn't know about this until looking at the agenda this morning, so I'll have to look at the process and I'll have to get back to you guys.
Okay.
Okay,
What about, should we call, phone call with Linda Morris too?
yes, will you please let them know? I'm curious as
Yeah.
to when the last time that they were assessed,
Assess,
Right.
that's the question here. you know.
Yes.
and
How does it compare to other homes on the lake?
Well, I did a little research here before I came in, and one of my friends got a cabin on there, and his didn't go up. He showed me the last 3 years of his tax statements, and it went up a little bit, but not that much. On his stuff, maybe.
So
I feel
some
like this would be
people's
really
that
good
went
for
up and
Linda.
some people
Well-
that didn't.
What's that,
Yeah.
So
Josh?
basically, you're saying some people's that went up and some people's that didn't?
His went up a little bit, but not like this,
how
so.
much does this show? How much his went up?
No, it doesn't. does
Well,
not.
then what?
No.
Oh, he's
He
not
just-
saying his went up. He is stating his is higher than the people around.
Right.
Is
Yeah,
his,
yeah.
Yes.
is his concern. So it's not the sake that it
So I'm
went up,
assuming he
it's-
is wanting a reassessment of his compared to the others, is my guess.
Okay.
Now, is that when you contact, that township has their own
Assessor.
assessor,
Red
correct?
Willow,
Or do we have anybody?
This
I don't
is,
think Red Willow.
Has anybody?
Well, it's in Rosendahl. I don't know if Rosendahl has. I don't know if they have an assessor or not.
yeah, if we could have, I would like to have Linda and Jamie
Yeah.
do some investigating as to what to do with this and the information on it as to when was his last assessment
Right.
and the similar cabins on the lake that are compared to his, what are the comparisons there? Because we do know that our county is not, we know we're working right now on trying to have everybody be equalized and work, so how far off are we? I mean, how,
Well, you gotta have some of the quality of the building.
Right.
I don't imagine we can call them hardly cabins anymore.
I
I
feel
think-
like
well, they're
Linda would
houses,
be
but-
Linda's
very
gonna talk to,
beneficial.
yeah.
Yeah, she would be beneficial to have, be able to explain, and then she'd be able to look at the other cabins around it and.
Yeah.
assess
Or the other
themselves.
ones on the resort.
Yeah.
I mean. The one next to it might not be the same quality as the one they're talking.
Right.
That's
Yep.
all I'm getting at.
right?
Yeah.
And ideally, what should happen is every year they compare the houses that are similar, similar size, similar everything to each other to ensure that these 4 houses that are the same are priced equally. And the ones that are, so they're kind of in batches, like,
Right. I hate there are some better ones than others.
Oh, absolutely. You know, so
So should we just get hold of people?
Yep.
And then we'll just.
put it on the next
Next
agenda.
agenda, and get some information on this. That will work for guys.
Please do that.
We'll do some more research on this, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Duly noted. Okay. Amber, you're up.
All right.
Can we have you go down?
Yeah.
Too.
Thanks, Maddie.
Thank you, Maddie.
I would like to discuss the Sally Port. Right now it's kind of being used as a storage for all kinds of stuff. There's blinds in there, there's shelves in there, there's snow blowers in there,
You mean in the room over here?
right here.
Yeah.
And I would like to use that as a Sally Port for what it was intended for, to bring prisoners in safely. There is a purpose for it, so we get them out of the vehicle. They're secured, we bring them in through to court. But right now, there's all kinds of crap laying around that I would rather not have in there for safety reasons. Also, we need to use that as a car wash for what it was intended. We can't use the one uptown. It takes our decals off. So rips them right off. So in the summer, we'll wash out back, but in the winter, we'll have to wash in there. So my ask is to have anything in there removed that's not law enforcement. There's blinds, there's shelves, there's scaffolding, there's snow blowers,
So where would we put it? That's
I
the
have
next
no idea.
question. That's the question.
but I can't be tripping over that stuff with prisoners and
Yeah.
Well, now that spring, couldn't some of it go in the storage shed where the mower is? Like the snow blower and everything?
I don't know.
I've not been in there. I have no idea. That would be a maintenance
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
But it's all scattered in there. It's a mess. I don't think that it's very
How much stuff is there?
professional.
A lot of stuff. I've been there once.
Some,
Yeah.
yeah, like that scaffolding takes up half that
Side.
wall over there, and then there's blinds and there's junk and snow blowers and like like right now Travis is in there. He has his stuff. That's
Yeah.
acceptable.
Yeah.
That's temporary, needs to be done. Great, but all the other stuff, I think it should be used for what it's intended to be used for.
Okay.
Did they get the exhaust? Isn't there an exhaust in that room, did we get that running again?
No, on that is, I gotta, basically on that, where I gotta have, I lost come look at it, and then we'll quote what it's gonna take to do, and then bring it up to commission.
Okay,
And have us approve it or not to approve whether it needs to be done right away or not. I get that, we got the other necessity stuff in there going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's great.
that is another necessity that does need to be going, but there's other factors to it that need to be looked into, that we can't just do it and then throw a county hooch bill. We have to get it on it.
okay,
So that's why.
okay. Is that room part of an emergency preparedness room for emergency event? I thought it was. That,
Yeah, cause it's right off the emergency management room and
We get in one of these storage rooms, Like I got
think
for my
Travis
feed
cleaned
room or-
out this one, if we could move, I don't know how much we can move into this room, but there is that.
it may be looked at to see what is worth keeping and what is worth throwing.
And I'm not saying there is or isn't, but I know we're moving some offices around. Will we have any available offices that we can put some of the stuff in?
Well, that's possible because we're moving, the extension
Yeah,
down to the
since we're
corner.
moving some stuff around, some offices around, I
Yeah.
wonder if we won't have a spare office that we could designate as storage till we need to purpose that room again.
I believe the social service wanted to take over the old extension office.
Correct.
Hopefully,
They're already being repurposed. We don't have just like a
Extra room.
extra
Okay.
office.
And that's fine, that's why I'm asking. I don't-
or if they're not gonna use it that often, maybe they are okay with us storing some stuff in there or.
Well, I don't wanna stick a bunch of stuff in a room that they're gonna, might need the space too.
They're gonna,
That stuff in there, is it
Yeah.
stuff that could be stored out, in a building outside, or does it have to be inside?
Well, it'd be
Or
nice to
so-
have we should probably get a building. Do we have a building outside for storage besides
we
the
don't.
lawnmower? Do we have?
Just that little shed back here for the lawnmower. But
But
I
you
mean,
could,
like
you
the-
can
the-
get some of those sheds from whether it's Menards or whatever, you know,
Right.
and they aren't that, well, it is money, but it's, they're fairly reasonable for probably for what we need.
Yeah.
Right.
If we need to get that out of there rather than bringing it back
Yes,
inside
okay.
this building.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
There
Great
was a
storage.
plan, there was a plan at one time to
Yeah.
build a storage shed to the north of the driveway. And then they, but that was for some of this stuff, so I didn't have to. interfere with the sheriff.
Do they still have, do they still build stuff at the school?
Not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Once while they have programs to
Yeah.
build sheds and all that, and they teach kids, we could talk to them about that.
Mhm.
And then we would be buying off the kids, we'd help the school out, and then two, we probably would maybe get a little bit better deal too. Is that something we could look into? That's unreasonable.
I like that idea.
Oh, yeah, when we get done, we'll go take a peek over there quick and see what's there.
How much scaffolding is, anybody have any idea? Because if we're talking about combining the positions back to the,
Section.
cleaning the, cleaning the windows, I mean, it's gonna take a lot of scaffolding to get up there to do that, so. We have to think of that. We have to think of that too, to where do you store the scaffolding and everything, so.
Right.
Scaffolding could be stored outside. You don't have to leave that inside.
That's true.
But where, so it's not an eyesore?
Huh?
Where would you store
Exactly.
it so it's not an eyesore?
Yeah.
Well, you can get those little plastic buildings,
Right,
12 by 12 or whatever.
yep.
Yeah.
I got two of them,
Yeah.
one for my lawnmowers and diggers and one for a feed room and scaffolding,
Could fit in there.
a mouse can't eat it.
Right.
I mean, stuff that can be stored out.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to bring it inside this building.
No, I agree.
No, it.
And I
more
know
of the
they put it
walls
in
and
there for a
everything.
place to put it. Uh,
I don't know where funds would come from to do such a thing, so maybe.
Tended to go up on the.
Yeah. So the scaffolding isn't very much or very huge. The snow blower, depending on how much room is in that shed, we could probably fit it in the shed with the mower, since that's a seasonal deal.
Yeah.
Or just in the doorway of the old courthouse.
Or that too. I mean, it just. And then some of that stuff is smaller. We could talk to Travis and put it maybe in here in this server room, without having to block too much space where he needs access servers.
The server room is in the hallway. This is just
Oh, this,
a kind of a storage.
okay.
Okay.
I wasn't sure because there's computer servers in it, so. I wasn't sure if this was 100% a server room or not. I know we have our main room, but I'm talking this one right here.
I don't think there's any servers in there. I don't,
Go get
I
us
don't know
computers.
that.
So I would.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll look into
Well,
that.
See how, get you more room and space.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thanks,
Yeah,
Amber.
my pleasure. Pleasure's mine.
So, okay, items to move on. Next item is courthouse summer hours. Okay.
So the last, meeting, we talked about the summer hours for the courthouse. We did get some, Kelly did get some additional, information for you guys regarding what other counties do, how they kind of make it work and whatever. And then Elizabeth did put
I saw that
a
one.
letter in here, about how she would make her office run as well. I'll let Kelly kind of explain this other,
Okay,
what she's done.
Yeah, I just sent out an email just to check with other counties, just to, excuse me, just to see overall what everybody does, because we certainly didn't want to ask for something that, was out of the realm or something that other counties didn't do.
Yep.
So I don't know if you had the list. I did bring extra ones too, in case you didn't have any. And it's kind of it's a wide variety of what different counties are doing. And some of the individuals that I talked to, like they said, it's such a short time frame, and our summer season is so short that was kind of why they started looking at some summer hours. I think in total, was it 12 weeks or I think 12 Fridays, something like that. It varies per county, I guess, of what they do. So yeah, I just thought I would bring forth some information and then yep, and then you guys can make that determination.
There you
of, You know, what you feel. Oh,
yeah, we saw this.
I haven't seen
It's in your
Yeah.
packet.
Oh, is it really? Oh, I didn't see this.
But sometimes a
Okay.
little hard copy is nice to look at too, but yeah, like I said, there's just a wide variety of things. And that was, one of the things that.
I turned the fan on. Started off.
Some of the larger counties, some of them emailed and said that they do some things individually in their offices because obviously the larger counties, they have a higher volume of
Traffic.
individuals that are coming in. So they work that out internally with their employees. They let them work longer, maybe 410s or whatever it is, their county order hours, and then they alternate the employees, whether they have a Monday or Friday off or. So I just thought I would bring forth the information just so you can kind of see what other people are doing and, just help make your determination. Like I said, we didn't want to ask for something that was, out of the realm of anything anybody else was doing.
And you can still kind of figure it out. Cause I know your guys' hours.
Go ahead, Rod.
I didn't hear what he said there.
Josh was
Oh, but-
asking,
I'm sorry, I was just kind of asking Amberly if this kind of messes up hers. She said it wasn't too bad. So being that she's got, 2 other deputies with different hour shifts, but
No, we're pretty much separate from all that.
Okay.
No.
So basically, this will affect just the auditor, treasurer, and clerk of court, correct? So service will be open, of course, and extension will have to work around it,
And then I guess whatever Jamie wanted to do
Jamie, yeah.
with his employee.
The couple things that I have is that I understand why they want it because the summer is short, but as a realm of businesses across the country or North Dakota, winter hours are usually in the winter when things are slow and shutting down, and they have shorter hours then and longer hours in the summer. Myself, I leave Monday morning, sometimes Sunday night, and I got home on Friday at 2:00 and I needed a haircut. I needed to go to the Cooper Drug, so Friday afternoons are my only time to get anything done. Third thing I don't think is fair is that if you're going to shut down your hours from 37.5 and take another 3 or 4 hours off, your guys' benefits are paid on 40 hours. So we're short on the hours already. And then and how is that fair to the road department? If you guys are going to go down to 34.5 hours.
Nope, we're
and
gonna get
your
our
benefits
hours,
paid.
we're gonna get our hours in. It would be nothing short of hours.
But then that's my other complaint. Our problem is that how are you beneficial to the county if the doors are locked and people can't come in and you're putting your hours in? I don't, yeah, you're putting your hours in, but you're not beneficial to the public.
They could, we could do through lunch hours so that they were able to come in through that, half-hour lunches or.
Something I think would have to be done for sure on that, to where you were beneficial to the public, but even at that, I'm still not up for it at all, because like I said, there are people that, everybody would love to have Friday afternoons off, but it's my only chance to get anything done is Friday afternoons. And I'm one of how many people are running around trying to get things done before they take off for the weekend and don't realize you'll be closed and come there and whatever. And even if they do realize you're closed, you're still closed. I think we offer, we've offered a service to the people for a 40-hour a week or a 37.5-hour a week, Monday through Friday. I think we need to maintain that.
And there are several counties that have switched to doing some of these hours year round.
I'm very surprised
as to how many counties are adjusting their Fridays during to be done by noon or 12:30. I was like, really, look at that.
And I was too, honestly, because, you know, I mean, obviously we do want to be available for the citizens. That is what our job is. So I too was surprised when I started looking this, and I guess what surprised me the most is the counties that were moving to doing that year round. And now some of those counties are being open, you know, shorter lunch periods or being open during lunch. Some sign waivers that they work through their lunch to make up for some of those individuals that.
Or they come in at 7:30. 7:30 is a good, 7:30 is a good time to come in. People who need to come in before work. You know, it's like, hey, I'm interrupting girls for the work.
I think
That's
part of
nice.
what Rod is saying on that is you have people here past 5 or before 8, but the doors aren't open to access whoever needs to come early to address them. Am I right, Rod?
That's where we're gonna.
Yeah, you know, that portion of, you know, I mean, of getting their hours in, I think would be a very necessitative. They would have to have, you know, but it still is, it's not friendly to the public.
Yeah.
And that, therefore, that is who we serve, is the public.
On Friday, you just
And-
try to schedule your haircut after in the
But
afternoon.
but what he's, I mean,
But-
what basically
but I
what Rod
did,
is
I mean,
saying
I-
is like you can't schedule something if the people are.
let's say that I had, you know, something I needed to get in to get paperwork at the clerk of court. And I come in on 2 o'clock on Friday, like I did last Friday. I can't do it. And then I left this morning again, you know, so I have to miss my work so that I can come up.
So,
to-
and
to
I can speak individually for my office. You know, if this is something that you all move forward and you did want to do, I personally would have you know, I think the conversation was that the office doors would be unlocked or the courthouse office would be open. And I mean, my personal plan would be to have a note in the event something happened, and because, you know, things do happen. I mean, and I can personally say, I know there's times that I would have to make adjustments if court were to come up and things like that. But I do know for general foot traffic, Friday afternoons during that time frame are, you know, are the most quiet, but you know, things do come up, and I do understand and respect your point, Rod, of, you know, what you're saying here. And I think, you know, with this list, and maybe doesn't show some of this, but like I said, some of those counties that made adjustments, they are open during those noon hours during that time, and then just have their hours closed Friday afternoons or whatever it is. You know, there's one courthouse that has switched to being closed at 2 p.m. year round. I was surprised to see that. But
Yeah, see, that's,
I do know that we would have to be careful what we do here because, you know, if the road department, for example, is putting their 40 in to get their benefits, you know, I would want to make sure that we have them, everybody's hours still maintained, because I know that would cause some rift for sure.
and I do know that, you know, the road department is one department that gets to be flexible with their hours. There's a certain time of year that they work 4/10s and they get their Fridays off. I don't know I don't know if that's summer or winter or what that is.
right now they're still working 4
4/10.
4/10s, right?
Okay.
They pretty much did it all winter long, actually, because it was such a
Okay.
slow winter. So,
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's crazy that, you know, even though they've got their 40 in, I mean, I've had people call and complain that they've called wanted to talk about getting road bladed or whatever, or not realize that they're closed on a Friday. And I've gotten calls on that and said, you know, I'm here and I wanna do this or this, you know, and I'm like, well, they don't work Fridays. They got their hours in. Now, you know, people, you know, when they want to pay taxes or get the road bladed or whatever, you know, they expect someone to be there, kind of a deal.
What is the busy, does summer have a lot of seasons? Like there's tax season, there's busy foot traffic for then. What is is there anything right now that'd be like, there's a lot of foot traffic in June and July because of
I mean, I would say ours is pretty consistently year round.
year round? Okay.
Very consistent. I mean, I know the treasurer's office, obviously during tax season, that really picks up. You've got election, you've got, you know, jury trials, things like that happen. I just think, historically, Friday afternoons, it's, but, and it can change from week to week,
It-
but you have your general days that are,
And everybody would get their hours in? I mean, nobody would be shortened hours.
No, we would make sure everybody got their hours in.
And you just want to leave Friday at noon
or
or 12:30 or
there really hasn't
How
been a
about one?
big discussion.
or
about it.
or
I mean,
one.
like I said, there's some that they close at 12, they
Yeah,
close at
one is-
12:30, they close at 1.
There's one
they
that
close
closes at 1.
2.
Yeah, they go 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, on Fridays 8 to 1. And that is what, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys close at 4, 4:30? I don't, not even
It's
sure.
4:30, it's 7.5
4:30.
hours a day,
You get how much for an hour from lunch?
hour for
Or
lunch.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys would probably stay open Friday or all week during lunch so that to make up for the 3.5 hours on Friday?
So I think for sure, the only office that would struggle a little bit with making sure that somebody was there would be myself. It depends on like if we did do this, then I would have somebody because I'm the only office that doesn't have a full-time employee. So
Okay.
that's why that alternating the lunch hours never worked for
Oh, yeah.
our office. But, obviously then if we did this, then Christy would just be off every Friday and I would just work. But like I said, that, it's kind of up to whatever you want to do or,
And you
we
want,
didn't really have any hard discussions about at what time to.
you want
close.
this to start
It's just
effective May? Or when?
Looking at what other counties did, that's what they did, Memorial through Labor Day.
Memorial Day is
Yes.
this coming weekend?
It's
Last weekend, last weekend of May, so it'll be like
yeah,
June 1st
I think
then.
we're closed that Monday, Memorial Day,
And
and then
then
that Labor.
that
Day,
Labor Day goes till
on Monday.
September though, so now we're starting into the,
It's a lot of them go through that first weekend in September.
oh,
So,
I was thinking of maybe like summer months. School starts nowadays.
well, you
Oh.
basically have June, July and August.
August,
So it's just the
Okay.
3 months because it's the last weekend in May.
Oh, yes, yes.
I think we
And
counted
Labor Day
12.
is on the 1st of September.
Yeah. I think we counted it was 12. It was 12 Fridays.
I'd be okay with trying this for a trial run for a month and revisit in a month to see how get an update, how it's going. And if there's any concerns, we could always go back, it's give her a month of June, let everybody know way ahead of time. So they would know the schedule after Memorial Day, we're closed Fridays at noon or 1 o'clock or whatever. And then, we'll revisit it at the end of June to see how it goes.
Could we maybe instead of saying we're closed, could we say appointment only? Or is that
Well,
something?
then,
Was that something
people would
discussed
have
when I
to
had to
be there.
step out there for a minute?
No,
No.
No, like if there's appointment, somebody calls in, hey, I'm gonna be in at 2, or can you come and meet me at 2? Or you-
appointment only on Friday sounds good. Afternoons.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I would absolutely have no problem with that. I know there are counties that have to schedule certain things.
yeah.
There's passports and, marriage license and things like that there are counties that schedule some of those things. So it's not like it's out of the realm.
So
to
that
do
way,
something.
like Rob was saying, if, there's people who can only come in Friday afternoons. Well, if they call and make an appointment and then you guys come in, take care of their needs and then go about your business from there. Is that probably a possibility that you guys could do? Does that seem really fair?
I don't know of anybody that only has Friday afternoon off.
Well, like Rob was saying, there's actually, believe it or not, a
Well,
lot
for
of
him,
people.
but I mean,
No, there's a lot of people out there that,
Well, and right now we're very flexible. I mean, there's people that call and they'll say, I don't get off work till 4:30, 4:45, 5. I've always stayed. I've never had any problem,
Mm.
especially if they call, and then we know, because I know there are people that have come at 5 o'clock, maybe not realizing that we do close at, 4:30.
I know you've even adjusted your
Oh.
guys' lunch schedules to
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
accommodate somebody coming in.
but I
Yep,
mean, if that's something that you
absolutely.
guys are willing to do, somebody can't make it, hey, they called, hey, we came on Friday, you guys weren't here. Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta come in the state, we'll stick around, we'll help you out.
Appointment.
Make an appointment, As long as you guys are willing to do that, I mean, I don't see why there's a problem. Cause you're still helping out a citizen in need. So. I mean, does that seem?
I think you should advertise it in the paper.
Yeah. Summer office hours or hours for from between Memorial Day and Labor Day. I like it that you pick 2 holidays. It's like in between these 2 times, these are summer hours. Monday through Thursday, full-time, Friday until
I say
Noon.
from be open till 1 and then after 1, it's,
noon to 1 and then by appointment only.
you know,
So then it's,
Available by appointment in the afternoon.
on
so then
Fridays,
it's like
after-
3
Fridays.
hours, yeah.
from 1 till,
That way,
Oh,
they
4:30,
won't-
yeah.
if you put it in there, they can't complain too much.
no.
They might complain, but I mean,
Yeah.
at least they've been.
But at least it still gives them the option to be able to set up an appointment, come in and do what they need to do. You know, they're still able to, you're still meeting the needs of the county. It's just they'll have to make an appointment instead.
And we'll put that on the website too, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
How does that work for your guys' office
or do you?
or Jamie or?
That would be Jamie. We are excluded.
Okay.
I'm gonna exclude us from, I mean, it doesn't pertain to us.
No.
That's a better
Okay.
word.
Just like social services open too, though.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
pertain to.
I guess I'm gonna open my mouth here and I'm kind of on Rod's thing on this one. So on that one, I've talked to some of my people out in the country there and they were not real thrilled about this. So I'm just people I've talked to. So talked to about
Well,
6,
and
7 people. So
and that's exactly what I've got. And people don't understand that we have run this county and this courthouse on a 40-hour work week. And we're not even working a true 40. Every other business, works on 40 hours. And I am 100% against it. And I've got it, and I had a guy yesterday in the afternoon catch me in the grocery store, and he was not happy at all about it. He thought it was preposterous that we couldn't be open to 4:30 on a Friday.
my other thing is, you guys, if you guys want to take off Friday afternoon, you do have deputies in your office. You follow me? And you can twitch off,
Yep.
you'll be this weekend, I'll be next weekend,
Mhm.
whatever,
Yep, absolutely.
You know.
I mean, we just, like I said, as a whole, this is just something that we asked, and if it's something that we're just bringing it to the table, we just brought the information, and yeah, we do have those, those.
One other just to bring up a point of view, and I don't mean to be the bad guy, but I mean in this kind of like Steph said, the insensitive side of it. But what other business would you have where your employees came to you and said, "This is the hours we want to work"? That it doesn't happen. When we run a business and this is the hours that we are open, and then you apply for the position and you take it.
Yeah, well, and like I said, this is something that we heard other counties are doing, and we talked about it, and we got the information, and we see all the other counties that are doing it, and like I said, ultimately, it's a decision up to you. We're not here trying to screw anybody over or be insensitive to anybody's needs either. It was just an idea, and we got information, and
We're not asking the county to pay for time not being worked,
Right.
we would put in the hours, we would work the hours and.
and I guess for us, we viewed it similar to what the road crew is doing. They're allowed to work 4 10s and still get their hours in. So like I said, to us, it's not something that we felt was above and beyond or out of the realm of what they were doing. So
Right.
that's why we asked, and
I think we should bring this to a motion so that we can all roll with this and then
That's
we'll have a
fine.
final decision. So how was the motion? I make the motion to have from Labor Day or from Memorial Day to Labor Day, have the office hours changed to 8 to 4, regular office hours, 8 to 4:30 during Monday through Thursday, Friday from 8 to one. With the option for appointment by appointment.
Call ahead of time.
Right, but after from 1 to 4:30 by appointment only. Yep. I mean, I do see a lot of facilities or a lot of other counties are doing this. I'm amazed by it. And if summer hours foot traffic is slower, it is slower. On Fridays, a lot of people take off and go to the lake or do whatever, but you know, it's and if this does go through and we get a lot of flack, by the next meeting or, and at the end of June, give it a month trial, we could always bring it back to regular hours and bring those 3.5 hours it back in on Fridays. It's and you guys will get your hours in. So nobody's working less hours, just like the road department. They're still getting their 40 hours in. They're just doing it in 4 days instead of being there in 5 days. So it'll be all,
Adjusting it.
you're
Yep.
just adjusting the hours. You guys cover lunches. I mean, even if you guys say that you'll be open during lunch to accommodate those 3.5 hours on a Friday. I am saying 3.5 hours, yeah. So that is my motion, all of that.
I would definitely be concerned of, like Josh talked about, and I'd mentioned, is that of hours before and after, if it isn't an appointment made and you agreed to meet somebody at 5 o'clock or whatever, okay. But if you're just there to put in your hours and we're not serving the public, I don't think that is what we're looking for.
So we'd have to adjust the hours of the courthouse itself then too, during regular business hours.
Well, but if you want to, but the county, but the road department, they adjust their hours. I mean, they put a 10-hour day on. So I mean, are you going to work till 5:30 Monday through Thursday to make up your hour? I mean, are you going to add an hour on those 3 days?
We're working through lunch, so we gain that 4 hours in those 4 days.
So
I'm not sure if you heard that.
Yeah, we would be
I
working,
heard it.
we'd be sending,
Okay.
the hours, yeah. And like I said, this is not us trying to screw anybody over. And if it's something that you don't feel comfortable with, like I said, it's just something we brought up. We heard other counties are doing it. It was a short time frame. We're willing to adjust our hours, same as the road has, to make sure, but
Anyway, do I have a second on this? Okay. One more time, do a second. If not, it will die for lack of motion then. So. Okay,
Thank you.
yep. I appreciate you just, listening and considering and
okay,
Can we add this to next?
we can, yes, we can, Lauren, no problem. We can put it back on the table.
We can do that.
So, old courthouse, new courthouse, I have nothing.
Can I please get you guys to add a, Vietnam War resolution to the agenda, please? Sorry, I didn't catch it, when
next
we were
time.
approving the agenda, but, I would like to discuss this, please.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you want to put this on next agenda or this time?
This time, please.
Okay.
So I just need a motion
make-
to add the Vietnam War resolution to the agenda, please.
Do a motion?
So
I'll make
Um,
the motion.
Okay, Lauren, okay. Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Lauren seconds it, okay. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Opposed? Fine. Okay, go ahead, Sam.
So I was contacted by our VSO officer, Veteran Service Officer,
Which is
that
Dennis Kabisky, right?
Dennis
Kapishka,
Kapishka, yes. And on May 7th marks 50 years that the Vietnam War has concluded. And so he has asked that we put in a resolution to the paper during Memorial Day that you know, that issue and thanking them for their service.
Sure.
And so our state's attorney has drawn this up for you, if you would like to see that. And we ask that you please approve me to get that into the paper.
We just have to pay for the editing or whatever.
The ad, yes.
Yeah, correct.
Yep,
That's not a.
yep.
Nope, looks good.
And I thought that that was very nice.
Yeah.
It'd be a very good thing to do.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the resolution.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Second, Lauren. On discussion, any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, so future business,
I have courthouse cleaning, payment under protest, and
Yep.
then the courthouse summer hours.
yep, that'll work. Anything else, guys?
For some reason I'm thinking there's something else, but I can't remember.
Great.
How's everything coming on? Did you find more stuff on that asbestos deal or not?
I sent the stuff to that, those two different people, you know, I sent it to
Okay.
them and I have to get back to them, but,
Okay.
that part is, I mean, that's not gonna change, you know.
No, but it's just,
There's some,
so we can get, I want
Yeah.
what we need to figure out and everything else.
I'll,
Get numbers together just so we can get
I
a
can-
full number, because if we're gonna get
I'm gonna-
this completed and file, we should at least know what we're getting.
I'll contact both those guys and see if, well, I guess, do you guys want one of those, you know, what, those guys to show up and talk to you guys? You know, I can have that, you know,
I think
know,
we should.
okay, I can do that. There's two different parties that are interested in taking it down, so. One through the hospital and the other guy's different, I guess, in that one, but I'll probably get the guy who's gonna take the hospital down at the same time, have him first.
I will contact Wade to find out his
On
status on
status.
updating the
Historical,
historical registration.
okay. Anyway, but I'll put that on there, see if we can get them on there too.
Yeah, no, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is my favorite time of the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Avriel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. We're done. What is it? 11:07. Next meeting is